Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Tradesman Experience. This is the podcast built by tradesmen for tradesmen. My name is Josh, and in the virtual studio is the talent, Mr. Nate Newton. Nate, how are you, sir?
Damn, only 2 weeks apart. That's pretty good for us.
Yeah, I feel like you're getting to see me too much now.
Yeah, so. I'm pretty over it. It's like being in a long-term relationship. Like, yeah, I'll fuck you, but I ain't going to enjoy it.
Well, I'll just send you dick pics to remind you why.
Okay. There you go. I'll make sure I got that Zoom function on my phone.
Yeah, would you please? I mean, it's going to be pixelated because I've got to zoom and then screenshot and send it to you anyway, but whatever.
It's not anybody's business, right?
Yeah. Yes. It's cute. All right.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
That's exactly.
Yeah.
Maybe he's short, but he sure is skinny.
How's the weather in the mountains?
Oh, we're snowing right now, buddy. So if we drop out halfway through, that's why.
Yeah, I'll just finish on my own.
Yeah.
Wait, that's not what I meant.
Sounds like your sex life.
Get that thing away from me. Ew.
Yeah. Just smacked it.
Ew. That's the I think that's the greatest insult word.
Yeah.
Other than laughing is ew.
Yeah. Well, dude, Matt and I were driving back from Carson one day. I don't know, some sort of traffic fucking thing happens, and this lady pulls up next to us, and she just rolls her window down, and I'm ready for her to flip me the bird, and she just gives me a thumbs down, and I was like, oh, like that actually hurt a little bit.
She unliked me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was thinking about that stupid shit like that the other day. The power that comments give people, the entitlement that, you can watch something and then voice your opinion with no conversation or no consequence.
Yeah.
It's such a powerful sense of entitlement that people start to behave that way.
Yeah.
Right?
They don't get hit in the fucking mouth like they used to,
Yeah. And the other thing that amazes me is they actually think that their opinion matters.
Yeah, I know. Well, but it's because people react to it, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you see these like celebrities and shit that they do something stupid, and then all these comments come up, and they're just doom scrolling through the comments, and it's like, what are you doing, you fucking retard? Like, none of these people know you. Like,
and then like on businesses, they will respond because of a review and leave like a 1 star. Oh, I can't believe they fired this guy because of this. What a joke. And they give him a 1 star. I'm like, were you involved in this at all? Are you just some fucking basement dweller that thinks your opinion matters?
Yeah.
And you think you're valuable? Just in your life.
Yeah. Just the whole, yeah. Go suck, start a 12 gauge.
Yeah. God. Happy holidays.
Yeah. Right. Dude, I mean, the way that these motherfuckers can weaponize Yelp and shit against you. Like, I was telling you that story about the guys they went out to lunch real quick. They were just running in to grab food and coming right back out. They were in the store for like 10 minutes. Well, the parking lot was completely packed. So they parked in a Tesla charging station. There was like 8 of them there. They were all open. So they just parked there. And then as they're leaving, there's some dude sitting in a Tesla just glaring at them. So they all just like waved at him as they drove away. Well, I get a fucking phone call. Hey, listen here, you fucking diesel burning piece of shit. It's why we Tesla drivers don't like you fuckers. It's some soy boy that's mad that there was a diesel truck parked in one of the Tesla stations. And he's like, you diesel burning motherfuckers. And I'm like, well, yeah, we are. That sounds kind of cool, but I'm like, hey, like, I don't know who the fuck you think you're talking to. He's like, I'm going to sue the fuck out of you, this and that. And I'm like, for what? Over a parking spot? And he's going off on me. And I'm like, hey, threaten somebody else. Fuck you. And I hung up. Well, then he goes on Yelp or Google. Worst quality company ever. The guys don't show up on time. They're drunk when they get here. 1 star. And I'm like, over a parking spot.
Right.
But that's where we've gotten as a society. But we also, like, any small business relies on good reviews. So I have 2 bad reviews on Google, and I haven't done work with either of those fucking people. One of them was, dude, the first one didn't even involve us. There's this other outfit up in Reno called Battleborn Mobile Welding. And I guess the dude drives like a complete fucking retard, like almost causes accidents on the freeway and shit. And we get a 1-star Yelp review, like, be careful who you let you drive your trucks. I almost got run off the road on Virginia Street. I didn't have anybody in Reno that day. And I'm just like, What the fuck, dude? You
Yeah.
know, so it just goes to show like you don't have to verify that you've worked with these people,
Mhm.
and you can just have a shitty attitude and motherfuck somebody over the phone and then affect their
Mhm.
business somehow.
Yeah.
You know?
Keyboard bullies.
Yeah. Well, and it's like, you little fucking soy boy piece of shit. Like, the guys were parked right next to you. Why didn't you say something to them?
Mhm.
You know, you're gonna call me and motherfuck me over the phone, but you ain't gonna say shit to the big old iron workers that are standing next to you. You know?
Yeah, it's amazing. I try very much to stay away from comment sections and even reviews. I'll scan them,
Mm-hmm.
and every time I see a bad review, it's rarely has anything to do with what I'm looking at. It's somebody's stupid opinion because they felt like they weren't
Mm-hmm.
treated like royalty.
Yeah,
Somebody didn't kiss their ass enough.
it's an emotional reaction to
Mhm.
something completely unrelated. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. Again, hashtag end your life. That's how I feel
Yeah.
about it. It's like fucking
I'm
people.
just gonna start doing that under my bad Google reviews because you can respond to them. So
Yeah.
just hashtag end your life.
End your life.
Yeah.
Oh, so speaking of entitled,
Mm-hmm.
on the last podcast, I planted a seed of a conversation about getting promoted too fast.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, the entitlement joke is a funny segue. But uh, when I talked about that, I talked about my experience, really. And when I look back over my career, I can honestly and fairly say that I was promoted too fast. Now, the promotions that I got throughout my career were really due to my ambition,
Mm-hmm.
my drive for significance, and this craving I had to be the best at that job.
Mm-hmm.
And the first one is good. I like ambition. The rest of them are not good ingredients for promotion
Mm-hmm.
because you end up being a shit manager. And I was a shit manager, by the
Mm-hmm.
way. Um, but I think that there's something that to be said about not promoting. And that's the conversation I want to get in with you today. And one of the things that I see, Nate, is people, they get so focused on moving up and moving forward that they don't pay attention to the job that they have. And I think that if people would spend more time in really working on being the best at what they're doing instead of trying to expedite that next step, they would be happier and more successful. And
Mm-hmm.
that's my opinion. But I'm curious your experience in that and kind of where this conversation is going to go. But it's something that I've been dwelling on for quite some time lately.
Mm-hmm.
Because another point that I want to make is like when I drive by a job site and I see a bunch of guys out there with tool rigs on and hard hats and high vis and steel toe boots, I really wish that I could stop and tell them how fucking good they have it.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you've never been a business owner, you have this perception of what it's like on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
And to be able to get up and go to work and do your job and be good at your job and get paid well for it, there's something fucking beautiful about that.
Mm-hmm.
And I wish people took more time in enjoying what they did as opposed to getting distracted by these future opportunities.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Fuck. Yeah, there's a lot there. I mean, I guess I'll start off with my own personal experience. You know, like I got promoted very quickly. Well, no, I'm not going to say that. I spent the first 4 years of my career just grinding it out, becoming great at the skill, becoming great at doing the job. Now, fortunately for me, when I did get to a point where I was running a crew, you know, and I was young, you know, like I think my first crew, I was like 26 or something.
Hmm.
But the crew that I'm running is a bunch of rig welders that own their own trucks that are motivated by piecework. Like there's nothing to manage there. Just like, hey, I need you guys to go take that set of joints. You guys go take that set of joints. Okay, great job, Foreman. Like, you
All
know,
right.
like,
How far'd you get? How
yeah,
far'd you get?
yeah,
Okay. Noted.
yeah, right. So like, and running a crew on the pipeline game wasn't really a thing until I got to Canada. And then we had some guys that, you know, it was a whole other story with these guys. They were motivated differently. We were working underground. We were working 16-hour shifts. Like, it was a long drawn out process, you know, and that's where I had to start learning how to, you know, motivate people to do stuff. And I wasn't very good at it. And then we got thrown on the project up in British Columbia, where we were supposed to go do the work, and we just ended up managing 32 Boilermakers. And that would have taken like Jocko times 10 to have quality leadership to run 32 Boilermakers. And it was just a fucking disaster. I wasn't good at it. I had zero leadership capabilities and a bunch of shitty attitudes, America versus Canada, union versus non-union, you know, like every fucking dividing factor in the trades was present on that project. And I mean, it took the piss out of me. Dude, I spent half my days, I'd just drive my truck down to the fucking river and just go fishing. They ain't fucking listening to me anyway. So, you know, we were basically there just to babysit and do fucking payroll, you know? But yeah, I mean, I promoted quickly, and then I didn't do very well at it. And then we started a business. And you want to talk about the ultimate promotion plus demotion, you know? It's
so true.
Both things simultaneously is promotion plus demotion. Like, because not only are you the boss now, but you're also got a shovel in your hand cleaning the fucking toilets and shit, you know? Like, you're doing everything all at once. So, I mean, you know, people are like, oh, yeah, I could grind it out for, you know, a couple years until it's successful. Motherfucker, I've been doing this for 8 goddamn years, and I'm still grinding it out. Like, it doesn't get easier.
No.
If anything, it just gets harder, you know? And like, you think you're going to scale. And I mean, I found scaling easier than I thought it was going to be. But that's because I have an understanding of leadership now. I have an understanding of what my roles, responsibilities, and expectations are for myself as we scale. And like, having a grasp on that really matters. But I mean, dude, I get people that approach me within my ranks all the time that are like, hey, I want to move up. Okay, you're 9 months in, dude. Like, learn how to do the fucking job first. Spend the time honing in the craft. Do those things. Like, dude, you shouldn't be asking me about fucking leadership positions until you're on year like 4. And then we can start talking about it. But it's like, dude, you know, everybody wants to get to the next step. And it's like, what do you think your life's going to be like at the next step? It's more stress. It's more responsibility. It's more accountability. And then, I mean, if you're in leadership, you got me crawling up your ass every fucking day. You know, like, I only deal with 3 people in this business now. And that's, there's 12 people, 13 people here that work here, you know, and understanding how to bring people up we fucked it up so many times. Dude, you should not have a kid that's 25 years old running a fucking crew. I don't care how fucking good he is. I don't care about any of that shit. He is not wise enough to run a crew. Yeah, put him as a lead installer or a lead fabricator, but not a leadership position. You should not have somebody under the age of 30 in a leadership position.
There's a lot of emotional maturity required to be a leader and to be in a leadership position. And that just comes with time.
Yep.
And that's one of the things, I'm glad you brought that point up, is there are things that you can't expedite. You can compress time on your skill set and learning leadership by putting the hours in. But you can't work 40 hours a week and expect to promote quick. You can't work 50 hours a week just doing the job and expect to promote quick. What will compress time is what you do off the clock. On the clock is on the clock. That's hours that you're putting in. And I'm saying this as if I was talking to my 25-year-old self, because I was 25 the first time I got put in charge of a crew. And I was the foreman. I was the sales guy. I did all the design. We ran the installs. I ran the service crew. I did not have the emotional bandwidth to properly run a crew, because I had one guy younger than me, which actually was Matt, and I had one guy older than me. And the guy that was older than me got thrown on me because he didn't work out at literally every other crew in this construction company. So I ended up with him. So it was this really neat. I mean, we had fun. I don't want to say like it was all bad, because it wasn't. We had a good time. But what was bad was because of my lacking ability, my immaturity as a leader. And I had worked so hard to get promoted that I didn't understand what was necessary to be in a leadership position. So you do have to just take time. And then if you want to look at the biology of it, especially in men, our brains don't fully develop until we're around 25 years old, which means
I'm still waiting for it to happen. So
yeah, right. I mean, even at that point, like, you can hang out with someone long enough and you know that they've got more dick than brain, and they just make a lot of stupid decisions. So the maturity aspect of coming into a management, foreman, or leadership position has to far surpass just your skill set ability. And there needs to be some age and wisdom to you.
Yeah, and that's the word I was going to use right there. It's wisdom. You have to see what the effect of things are and be analytical about those things. And that's how we define wisdom, right? It's evaluated experience. And so when you're that young, you haven't seen enough shit. That there's not enough time. Life can't be that fucking difficult, and you can't work 100 hours a week. Like, you just can't do it. And if you're going to be in a leadership position in this company, you have to be a decision maker. And, I press on the guys all the time, make a fucking decision. They make a decision, it's a bad one, and I crawl up their ass. They're like, well, I made a call. I'm like, yeah, well, you made a shitty fucking call. Like, these leadership positions aren't just about making a decision. They're about making good decisions. And that's a hard fucking thing to do. And you have had to have seen a lot of shit to make good fucking decisions in the line of work we're in, whether that's on a safety scale, whether that's on a quality scale, whether that's on a fucking relationship scale, not only with your crew, but with the other contractors. Because, I mean, like, look at Zach. Zach's in a superintendent position. He's like, we were riding back from Reno the other day, and he's like, dude, I had no idea. I had no idea it was this insane. And I'm like, yeah, like, he was talking about wanting to, like, buy into ownership. And I'm like, dude, hold on. If you think that's insane, wait till you see what my side of the ball looks like. And it's like, the grass is always greener on the other side because you think you're going to get more. Yeah, you will get more, but you're going to do a hell of a lot more. And I think when you go to promote people, you need to not look at what they could be. You need to look at what they are right now. And I think that's where we get blinded with a lot of stuff, because you'll see like a kid come up, kind of rock star, got a good attitude, can figure shit out, has the skills down. Okay, well, that's what he is. You're like, oh, he'll probably accelerate at fucking leadership. He'll probably accelerate at scheduling, contractor relationships and stuff like that. That's not what they are right now. You need to see that in these people before you bump them up. But the problem is that we are so starved in these fucking industries that we don't have much of a fucking choice. If I need somebody in like a small leadership type position, like a install lead, I got a guy in my ornamental install lead right now. He's only been in it a couple years, 2 years. He leads the installation, but he's not in leadership because he's still got a lot of shit to learn. And it's, these guys are coming out of the military where it's, it's a whole other story in there where you can get promoted really fast, take the test, do all the shit. And it's like, dude, there's a lot more shit to learn here. Like, we do a lot of different things, and you got to know a lot of different shit. And so, I mean, even the older guys, like Danny, put him into a leadership position. He's like, he's doing great at it, but he's like, dude, it's fucking hard. Like, I think about shit all weekend, and I'm like, yeah, welcome to leadership, dude.
That's right.
It doesn't turn off when you fucking clock out on Thursday,
No, I think that's a good point, is the on-off switch. And when you want more responsibility, or you think that you want more responsibility, which I think sometimes people are attracted to the idea of authority instead of a responsibility.
Right.
They're also attracted to their own definition of what that position does. but leadership doesn't have an off switch. It may have a dial,
Right.
but there's no off.
Mm-hmm.
And that's difficult for a lot of people to comprehend, because I'm the exact same way. Even, I mean, now I will be laying in bed at night or at the gym in the morning, and my brain is like, oh, I think adding this into the leadership training would be valuable. Oh, I think this interview question in the interview process would be valuable. Like, for example, I'll give you a perfect example, because this is what happened to me 2 days ago. One of my new interview questions is going to be, how many times have you not put the shopping cart back up when you were done with it?
Mm-hmm. That's the libertarian test of self-governance.
Right.
Yeah.
And I love that question, because I want to murder people that don't put their fucking shopping carts away and they just blow around the parking lot and ding into the side of your truck. But like, to understand that, not being frustrated about that, but embracing the responsibility of leadership and constantly focusing on the fact that it doesn't get easier. I just have to be better. That's a journey that a lot of people don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
And when they want to promote, the higher up you go, the more responsibility you have. And yes, the better you have to be. It doesn't get easier as you go up the hill, but the better you have to be to fucking survive up there, not thrive.
Yeah.
But survive up there. And it's so hard to quantify for people that, it's like, how do you measure leadership? I don't know. It's like, that's still a great question. That's difficult to answer, but promotion for the sake of promotion, man, I wish people would just hammer down on themselves in the position that they're in.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, dude, I spent the better part of, because I've been in this industry for almost 20 years now. I spent 10 years honing in a very specific skill and becoming an assassin at that skill that I don't fucking use anymore. I'm a goddamn estimator. The fuck happened, dude? Like,
right.
I used to be a cool guy. Now I'm fucking pencil pushing Larry over here. And so, like, and you have to understand that, like, if you're one of those younger guys and you're wanting to crawl your way up and, you think that's what you want, understand what that position actually is before you go chasing it. I don't want to be in the field anymore. You definitely don't want to sit behind a fucking desk all day. I can tell you that much, and I think there's this delusion of what these things look like. Oh, well, I'll make more money so my life will be better. I'll tell you right now, more money doesn't make your fucking life better. It gives you a little bit more freedom. Gives you freedom, but dude, everybody's after it when you have it. You're fighting with everybody over every fucking penny. Like, it's not as, you don't just go do a job and get paid and then that's it. That's not how this shit works, And the guys that there's only been one guy that I've talked to over the last couple of years that's like, hey, I think I'm going to go out on my own. And I was like, fuck yeah, dude, you should. And that was Kyle Jarbo. That's the only fucking dude I've ever told that to, because he is fucking capable of it. Everybody else, I'm like, you have no idea what you're asking for here, brother.
It's like, oh, what's your plan?
Yeah.
It's like, well, I can do this. Yeah, you can do your craft.
Right.
But what's your plan to own and run a business? To your point on people have a delusion of what that promotion looks like and what that position is. To me, I agree with you. And I think that distracts them from mastering their current position. And if somebody reaches out to me and says, hey, like, I've got all of these certifications, I've taken these tests, I've done this thing, my response is going to be like, first of all, bravo. Like, I actually commend you on that. I think it's a great accomplishment. Let's take the skill set off the table and tell me everything else that you're fucking great at. Are you 10 minutes early every day? Do you drink alcohol? Do you do drugs? Do you eat shit food? Do you exercise? Do you have healthy conversations with your spouse? Do you have good relationships with your kids if you have them? How do you drive on the road? How do you take care of yourself? How organized are you? How disciplined are you? How well do you control your emotions? How do you speak to people instead of at people? Like, take your skill off the table and you answer all of these fucking questions. And when you start to get good at that, then you're ready to promote.
Because that's the thing. People don't understand that all of that fucking matters. Every last thing you rattled off right there, all of that shit fucking matters. Because out of that list, there's like 3 or 4 things where I'm like, ugh. You know? But it's
Right.
like you should be in a constant state of evolution, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like people think that once you get to the promotion, there it is, I did it. I won. Oh, did you? You won. No,
Right.
you just got started, motherfucker.
Yeah, they treat
This
it like
is
a finish line.
Yeah. And then they just start dialing back. And it was like, dude, you were doing all this great shit prior to that.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get here and you're like, oh, I can breathe. And I'm like, no, I'm going to hold your head underwater. Like,
definitely.
yeah.
The other thing that interests me too is the I don't know what the term is, so I'll make one up. The hypocrisy of promotion, right? You're not on time, you're not organized, and you constantly shit talk your boss or the company, and then the moment that you get promoted, you now expect everybody else to perform better.
Right.
And it's like just yesterday, like you were here, and now you're there, and you're all fucking righteous.
Mm-hmm.
Like you didn't have the right things in line to be able to earn that promotion.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, one of the sayings is it wasn't a choice, it was a lack of options.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I think a lot of people get promoted because of that. Well, you said it earlier, like we're starved for people in these industries. So it's not a choice, it's a lack of options. But they stand on as soon as they get to the other side, they're like, hey, Nate, I need you here like 10 minutes early, man. Like this, you know, I need you to be in uniform and you look disheveled when you get in here.
Mm-hmm.
Motherfucker, you weren't leading by example yesterday. Now you got this promotion. You're all righteous. Like, go fuck yourself.
Right. Yeah. Well, and then they'll do that for like 2 or 3 weeks. And then I mean, everybody falls back into their old habits, right? Like, fucking, I'm guilty of it, you know? And it's a long, hard road if you're trying to climb. Most people, if they just took, if they took a look at what their life looks like at the position they're at, and they just honed in on the point that they're at in life and quit trying to fucking climb after the next thing, they'd probably be a hell of a lot fucking happier.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and money doesn't equal happiness. I'll tell you that right now. Money equals freedom, but it doesn't equal happiness. And like just thinking that getting to that next place is going to fix all your problems. So the problems are you, motherfucker. The problems are all direct representations of who you are as a person.
Yeah.
If you feel broke all the time, if you think if you're just going to make more money, that everything's going to be better with your old lady and your kids are going to have better lives. No, dude. When have you ever seen that work?
It's just an amplification of your state.
Right.
Like more money just amplifies your personality.
Mm-hmm.
It amplifies your lacking discipline. It amplifies your lacking emotional discipline. So it's just an amplification of your insecurities and your inefficiencies.
Well, but the problem is us, right? The owners that are making these decisions, that are hot-shotting these kids into these positions, and they're good. We set them up for failure. They're never going to do good at it. They're probably going to end up getting fired. And what that's going to do to the rest of the crew is either send a signal that we're all expendable, or you're going to get some other kid that's going to go, I could do it better than he did it. Oh, yeah? How? Well, I would have done this one thing. And then that's the most that they fucking thought about it, right? And then we create this culture of turning and burning leadership. And I think that is the greatest show of terrible culture is high turnover in your leadership. Mm-hmm. I think that is a great determining factor of what your culture looks like.
I agree with you entirely. Yeah, I agree with you entirely. The concept of wanting to promote, and I wanted to circle back to this, is if you want it to be easy, get so fucking good at what you do that you make it look easy.
Mm-hmm. It never gets easier. You just get better.
That's it.
Yeah.
And I've worked with some of the graybeards that I work circles around them and they get twice as much done as I do. And I'm like, What
They're
is happening?
we're walking at 3/4 step, just
Yes.
efficient with every fucking movement they make.
Everything. They are so goddamn efficient.
Mhm.
I mean, you see him like, oh, he's at his cooler getting a drink of water, and then you see him the next time and he's talking to the client, and you see him the next time. But at the end of the day, you've made a mess
Mhm.
and he's ahead of schedule. Like, how the
Yeah.
fuck did you do that? Like, I didn't see you do anything.
Yeah.
But they're so goddamn efficient.
Mhm.
And a lot of those graybeards that I'm talking about never chased promotion.
No, they were
They
happy with that job.
they wanted to master that thing, and so they locked in and they put decades in, not days, not months. They put fucking decades into doing this thing,
Mhm.
and now when they move at half of 3/4 of your speed, they get twice as much done
Mhm.
because they don't have all of the inefficiencies and bad habits and unknowing that you have, and they're not attracted to shiny shit and promotions.
Yep.
They love what they do and they own it. And in the construction world, that I learned a lot of that in the construction world. You get these graybeards that still have a tool belt on, and you look at them, you're like, why are you still doing this? Like, why aren't you a superintendent? Why aren't you do that? They have no desire.
Mhm. Well, I mean, dude, half these motherfuckers, this is the only thing that keeps them alive, Like the fact that they're up and moving around and they're able to be that efficient and not beat the fuck out of themselves. Like there's no need for them to retire. They're like, what am I gonna do? Go sit at home?
Mhm.
Like that
Right.
sounds fucking terrible. So they just show up, dude, and they're happy to be there.
Mhm.
They'll never smile or anything like that, but
No.
trust me, on the inside, it's all sunshine and rainbows.
If you're lucky enough, as I've been a few times in my life, if you're lucky enough to be able to connect with some of those old timers,
Mm-hmm.
you get to see like how happy they are. And everybody's got a hard story, right? Like something hard has happened to everybody, but they want to show up. They don't have to.
Mm-hmm.
Like they show up because they want to. And they also, this is something that I learned from them too, is they love to watch the new guys just burn it out.
Yeah.
Just run and hustle and grind,
Yeah.
they love to see that, and you're like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
let them
Yeah.
go.
Yeah. And I understand the frustration of having greenhorns. I've dealt with them my whole fucking career, right? I was one at one point, just like everybody else was. But like when you send a kid to go get something, he's coming back with the wrong tool. It's going to take him twice as long as if you just would have done it yourself, right? But the graybeards that have the patience and understanding to know that that's required to make that kid better.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to get back and he's going to fucking yell at him and scream at him, maybe throw a wrench or something like that. But that lesson sinks in. You can only explain things so far. People just have to get hit in the fucking mouth, especially in these industries. Like it's unavoidable. You have to operate like that.
Yep.
And that's why we fuck with them so much. Like, hey, go get a pipe stretcher or, like whatever stupid tool we send them for.
Millimeter crescent wrench, a metric crescent wrench. That's my favorite.
Yeah. So it's one of those things that, we're fucking with them, but it's not because we're sadistic. Well, not all the time because we're sadistic, but it's because this is what it takes to grow in the industry. Like we're helping you fuck up. And one of the biggest lessons you'll fucking learn in these industries, don't fucking trust people. Like if somebody tells you something, like that's a skill you have to learn, right?
So true.
You got and it'll get you very far, dude. Because if you're dealing with other trades, like people fucking lie, they point fingers, there's all this sort of shit. If you learn how to get a fucking leathery skin on you at an early age, which I was fortunate, my dad was a fucking Marine. He used to fuck with me all the time. I'm skeptical of a lot of shit, but I got that from my dad because he'd fuck with me. But then when I got into the industry, my dumb ass goes in there all bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and then they start fucking with me again. I'm like, that's what my dad was doing. He was getting me ready for this shit,
For me, it was always in my early days, and like I started working in businesses with full-grown men the summer I turned 13. So I got immersed into it as a prepubescent stage of my life. I just wanted their approval. And so you would literally do fucking whatever they said. And then you find out that they're fucking with you, and it's like, God damn it.
Yeah. Right.
And then, but you do learn, and those aren't
Mhm.
things that you can read or listen to us talk about. You have to
Mhm.
be able to experience those things. And it served me so well. I became really excellent at fucking with people and bullshitting with
Right.
people,
Yeah.
but that's part of the skill set that you need to have.
Mhm.
You've got to have that thick skin, and you've got to be able to stand there and go, hold on. First of
Mhm.
all, don't fucking yell at me again.
Right.
Second of all, what is it that you need? And
Mhm.
and like they take you seriously. If you haven't been hazed,
Mhm.
you don't know how to respond in those situations.
Yeah. If you haven't been hazed, people don't like you.
That's also true.
Yeah.
So fucking soft.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it goes in line with what we're talking about. I think when people get distracted by promotion, they look at themselves in that position as everything going right.
Mhm. I'll
It's like, oh, I
finally
can do that job.
Yeah, I'll finally get the respect I'm deserved once I get to
Yeah,
that
I
position.
can do that better.
Yeah.
Everything will go right.
Mhm.
And it's it's when shit's going sideways and wrong and you get blindsided. That's the testament of a leader.
Mhm.
And when you don't have the experience and the wisdom, because the moment that you accept that promotion, you've now accepted more responsibility as a person.
Mhm.
People are going to look to you and go, okay, what should we do now? Well, and it's not that you have to have the answer, but if you don't have the humility and the emotional discipline to navigate that,
Mhm.
they're going to throw you overboard.
Yep.
You're
Yep.
fucked. They don't trust you now.
Mhm.
But you
Yeah.
were so excited to get up there,
Mhm.
and now you don't know how to steer the fucking ship.
Then that's the fuck, dude. I mean, that hits the nail on the head for us. Like, when we started this thing, it was like, oh, we're gonna do, we're gonna take really good care of people and just give them more money and you know, sissy la la shit. And then we didn't hold people accountable out of the
Mhm,
gates, and it led to a full fledged mutiny. And you know, everybody's watching, dude.
mhm,
Especially when you get promoted, there's a big old fucking target on your back, and you better understand that shit. And when shit goes fucking sideways, and all you did was, just kind of fluff people the whole way through, and
mhm,
now you need to hold them accountable, they're gonna eat your fucking lunch, dude. I'll tell you that right now.
mhm,
And I think, one thing that we need to do as people that give out the promotions, we need to be hard on people when they're first promoted. We have to crawl up their fucking asses and hold their feet to the fire
mhm,
and set a precedence right out of the gates. And I think a lot of us, because I've done this, when I promote, I sit back and I go, okay, how are they going to do? Let's see what they do. And
mhm,
I think that's a terrible way to
mhm,
approach it. I think completely railroading somebody when they first get in that position,
mhm.
prepare them for their worst day.
You need to onboard them in that position.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I mean, like bringing somebody into the company, onboarding them into that. And I'm not talking about going from a first year to a second year, but when you promote to an influential position in the company,
Mm-hmm.
having that onboarding and it needs to, and this is a mistake that a lot of owners make, and I think part of this is mitigation, but you need to be strategic about who and when you're promoting, and you
Mm-hmm.
need to be grooming those people for those positions, not just, hey, Nate, dude, you've been fucking killing it this year. I you know Matt and I have talked, we're going to make you a team leader.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I just dropped this off on you and now you're promoted,
Right.
even if you weren't chasing it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what the fuck did I just do to you?
Right. Right.
You're
Yeah.
right. Like, we need to be having that conversation months in advance, especially if you bring it up to me.
Mm-hmm.
If you say, hey, I'd like to get to this position. Okay. I know where the end goal is. That's your goal. Let's reverse engineer it. What do you think you need to be doing in the next 90 days to get one step closer?
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean? Haha. Again, are you 10 minutes early every fucking day? Do you fuck around on your phone? Are you organized? Are you emotionally disciplined? How do you communicate? What's your system implementation look like? All the shit that I rattled off earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Let's focus on that.
Yep.
You get really good at that. Every time you come to me, I'm going to say, yeah, just tell me what you want.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're going to hold this list up in front of me and go, hey, all of these things you told me to be good at,
Mm-hmm.
I'm really fucking good at it now.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And this is what I want. So I need to know what I got to do to get to the next step.
Well, and I mean, if you are chasing promotion, you should be doing all these things before you come fucking ask me anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because
Yes.
honestly, if I got to tell you to fucking brush your teeth in the morning, I don't have a lot of faith that I'm going to be able to put you in any sort of fucking position.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I'm laughing because it's so stupidly real.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's and this is like a constant thing, especially with the younger guys, dude. It's that we've created a precedence in the industry that you can be 25 and lead a fucking crew. And I think we need to, and it's because we didn't have any options, right? And we made dumb decisions because we were in the heat of the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that as a collective, like we need to be cognizant of this. We need to understand how when you promote too quickly, that not only are you damaging that position, you're damaging that person, but you're damaging the fucking industry. You're setting a horrible precedence for these kids. And like, dude, we got kids coming out of college that are fucking project managers right out of college. The fuck do you know about managing a project?
Yeah.
You've never seen one put together, you know? And so it's from the top down.
Yeah.
You know, and we're fucking up and we need to make some serious fucking adjustments here.
To your point, the first time that I had a position of authority, that I was a foreman, again, I was around 25. I had been working in the trades for 12 years at that point. Mm-hmm. This wasn't just like I had 4 or 5 years in that industry, but I had been working in organizations, working face to face with clients for 12 years at that point, and I still got it wrong. Mm-hmm. Right? Like there just has to be some maturity. The other factor is I didn't have good leadership, so I was trying to manage people the way that I had been managed, which also didn't work. And then my favorite piece of management was naturally we manage people based on our own strengths. Mm-hmm. So if I'm really good service technician or I'm really good welder, I'm going to manage people based on my own skill set to do their job. Mm-hmm. And that is a terrible fucking way to manage people.
Dude, I had zero leadership. Mm-hmm. I got dropped off on a project in Sacramento with one of the company trucks and like, figure it out. Don't know how I made it through that, but I did. But I mean, we had zero leadership. So when I got into a position of leadership, I was like, well, just do your fucking job. What do you mean? You need me to fucking tell you you're doing a good job and this and that? Like, because I didn't have any of that. I didn't know that people needed it. And so like to walk myself back, especially once we started our own company and, you know, got into actually having employees, you're not just running a crew, like understanding the needs of the people that you work with was such a fucking eye opener for me because it was like all of my needs were my responsibility. I never worked anywhere where somebody fucking took care of that shit for me. And so that was my strength. It's just like, here's where you go. This is what you do. And then I get upset because they're not getting shit done. Well, they're not me, you know, and I came up a hell of a lot different, you know? So,
yep. No participation trophies.
Yeah.
But now I just hopefully, you know, I know the message that I really wanted to send here was not only to the leaders, but to everyone that's working for someone. Stop chasing the promotion and just focus on being excellent at what you do. I think the metric of the best is arbitrary, but look at your performance, look at your behavior, look at your influence with other people, look at how you communicate. Focus on that. Be really, really, really excellent at what you're doing and stop worrying about what you think you should or could be doing at this other level. Because if you're 75% at this and then you get promoted, you're going to be 40, 50% at that.
No, at best.
At best. Right. And then if you get 60, 70% of that and you get promoted again, now you're going to be 25, 30%. You're not maximizing your capacity as you go up. You're just continuing to fucking
Yeah,
get less and less.
Once you get to ownership, you're sitting at about 1%. So
your bucket's got a big ass hole in the bottom.
What bucket? It's just a tube.
It's just a tube. It's a funnel for shit to flow through. So, but anyway, are you working? It's Saturday. You and I are recording on Saturday. Are you working today?
I wasn't going to, but now that I came in and I checked my emails before we jumped on, and I was like, "Fuck me!" At least I'm here, so I might as well fucking deal with it.
Yeah.
But we got a couple of public works projects up in Reno that they're good paying jobs, and the change orders have been plentiful. I'll put it that way. And then we got some design stuff that we need to get dialed in for a couple of the custom homes up at Clear Creek. So we're pushing hard on that stuff, and there's been a very large change within the ranks of Battleborn Welding, and we'll talk about that at a later date. But we're moving in a little bit of a different direction now. Yeah, I mean, it's exciting, and it's I don't want to give it all away until things are settled out, but it's like,
evolution of business.
Yeah, dude. The only constant is change around here,
So true. It's so true. Well, we are prepping the new Blue Collar Boot Camp launches the week of the 13th in January.
Get in there.
Yeah, and hopefully Zach can start attending because you guys are in it. Yeah. You guys
no idea.
Yeah, you guys are signed up.
Oh, okay.
Which I'll start sending you, which I think I did, but anyway, you get enough emails. Once you go through the boot camp, you get rolled into the mastermind group. So we do monthly masterminds now.
Okay.
The program is called the workshop. You get into the workshop, you still have access to all of the boot camp, so you can literally go through the boot camp as many times as you want. If you're in the workshop, you can attend the live Q&As that we do every week. You still have access to all of the material. You get in, jump in, ask questions. We did our mastermind last week, and Brittany Murphy was in. We talked about marketing.
Yeah.
So she came in. So the objective with the mastermind is I'm going to have a guest come in each month that specializes in their thing, so people can ask questions. To them. So that's launching. The website, there's a link on my website. If you go there, click on the Blue Collar Boot Camp, it'll take you to the link to sign up. So that's launching. We're already talking about our next 2-day business builder next year.
Good.
For the spring.
Dude, I wish people understood. Like, it's so hard to convey the quality or the value of that, because I mean, fuck, dude, we did the 2-day business builder, and I do, at that point I was doing this every week with you, so I was pretty in tune with this kind of shit. But there's something about that immersion training that, I mean, dude, we picked up on so much shit. This financial stuff with Greg was a fucking eye-opener. Like, it's, yeah, you might listen to the podcast, but that 2-day business builder, I guarantee you're gonna walk out of there with a whole new fucking game plan and the confidence to execute the game plan.
The thing that we decided to do, because the way that we've restructured all of the coaching now, is to make sure that everything has a next level of value. If you say you don't make it through the boot camp, but you come to the 2-day business builder, once you get through that, you can enroll in the workshop, and then you have access to the boot camp. So we've tried not to make it singular. You have a couple options to get in, but I don't know, what it's like when you get into a mastermind group and you can talk to people every month, and you have someone that's, again, an expert in their field that you can ask questions to, like, hey, I don't understand how to do this. Like, I know a lot of the guys in the group have Job Tread, so I'm going to try to get one of the guys from Job Tread in there. Just shit like that. So,
oh, well, shit, dude. I mean, there's guys that I still talk to from the 2-day business builder. And like, for a couple of the guys, dude, they're like, dude, I need to know about, before I jump on Job Tread, like, I need to know about it. And I'm like, okay, like, what do you guys want to know? And I'll give them a whole breakdown on how I use it. And I'm like, I'm probably using Job Tread at 50% capacity, and there's so much more that it can do. And now that fucking the beast is in here, dude, our whole fucking schedule is in there, all of our daily logs, like, all the time cards. She verifies the time cards, made sure motherfuckers checked out for lunch. Like all this compliance shit, and the job costing side of it is fucking unreal. But but just shit like that. Like, and it's these people you meet at these events where when you all get to know each other pretty well in that immersion setting, like you're walking around the fucking hotel during a break or whatever, just chopping it up with dudes that are in your industry. I'm like, well, what are you using for this? What are you using for that? And, I picked up so much good information, not just from the business builder, but also from the people that I met there.
Yeah. That's my big goal, is to build a community. And the group coaching of the Blue Collar Boot Camp, the 2-day business builder, it all builds that community. And I still get messages. I got one from Garrett the other day. He was at the last 2-day business builder, which I introduced the value engine sales training to in this builder. He texted me. He goes, I cannot tell you how much I appreciate the sales training. He said, I'm 3 for 3 this week.
Shit.
Just because I stopped just talking and I started asking questions and going through that process. And then Ryan put in our Facebook group, because we have a private Facebook group with everybody too, and about how this contractor was like, hey, you guys' price is too high. And he said, because of the 2-day business builder and the coaching, he goes, I was able to navigate that customer through the conversation, so I better understood what they wanted. We redacted some of the things that we had bid in the scope, so it brought the price down all the way down to a $3,500 split. He said, and I got the contractor to split the difference with me, and we got the job.
Right.
And I was like, and Ryan's awesome, and he's a no nonsense kind of guy, but he was like, I never pictured myself being able to sell. And he crushed it out of the park because he didn't sell. He communicated. And he asked questions, and he understood what was valuable to the client. So all of that shit, man, it's hard to say what's valuable, but that's why we have this coaching. That's why we have the boot camp and the builder and all of this kind of stuff, is to help everybody be successful.
Oh, hey, you're going to be proud of me. I now have an online construction takeoff app that I use. I was spending $2,500 a month printing plans, and we were going to get on Bluebeam, but Bluebeam is not supported by Mac. So now I'm on stackedct.com. Dude, I was spending $2,500 a month printing plans. It was $2,500 for the year for this thing. It does full estimating, full construction takeoffs, and it's a phenomenal fucking platform. Like, super easy to use, and like, dude, it's shit like that. Like, this is stuff you learn at the business builder. It's like just figuring out what fucking be like. Oh, I'm old school. I do my plans on paper, and if you break down the cost of it to somebody, and then you're like, well, this is the app that I use. This is how much it costs a year. What a fucking eye opener that kind of shit is, And it's just stupid little conversations that you have along the way,
So now you only print the jobs you sell.
Exactly. Yep.
so you went from what, 2,500 to 800,
if that, yeah. And fucking the ladies over at the printing place, they were like, "Hey, where the fuck have you been?" And I was like, "I'm sorry, I got this app. Like, I'm still using you guys for whatever." So they fucking embroidered this badass jacket for me for Christmas. Like,
oh, nice.
Yeah. I was like, that's fucking awesome.
It is awesome. Yeah, but it's cool shit like that. It's being able to have conversations with people, and our buddy Ryan up at FabMaster. They just launched Job Tread, and I'm really excited to see what it's going to do for them. So, it is about being able to connect with those people. So, again, guys, the new boot camp launch is January 15th. It's the week of the 13th. Officially launches the 15th. Get to the website and get signed up, because you're going to get to meet with people of all industries that are going through the same shit you're going through, and you get to not feel alone. You get to actually communicate with other people. It's like, hey, Nate, I got a question about this kind of thing. So
yeah,
but we'll try to get you guys more involved in that coming up.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
some of your leadership can go through the boot camp.
Yeah, and I still want to bring you out for another refresher
Yep.
course on the training or on the leadership training. Plus, I got some electrical issues going on out here, and I might put you to work for a day. So
I'll just plan a few days of coming out and seeing everybody and putting them through the training. But
there you go.
You can ask Nate more questions about what he's doing at Nate Newton 87. I am on Instagram at The Tradesman Experience. Email is thetradesmanexperience@gmail.com. Website's thetradesmanexperience.com. And the YouTube channel is The Tradesman Experience. Thank you so much for spending this time with us. Get out there, get shit done. Be proud to be a tradesman. See you.